Alright everybody, so in the last video, in the first one, we went a bit over what you can do to start off raid with some of the strong champions. We're starting with Ugo, we have Alice now, so we actually have a bit of a lineup that already allows us to do a lot of the content there. And with all those codes, there will be more actually in the near future. The question is, of course, now, what exactly are you prioritizing now? What are your short-term goals, and how do we progress the account as quickly as possible? And this is where we're starting with the video today. Okay, as we are in the game, you can actually see that I'm by now level 22, so this is just a little bit of playing mainly through the campaign. And this is actually where you want to focus your energy on right now. When you have now all of these options, as you go through the game, you unlock new content, you have Faction Wars, for example. And Faction Wars is something, if you have champions in a certain faction, for example, for Dark Elves right now, I still have Kayle here, you can definitely do that, but this is where things start to get a little bit tricky very quickly, and it depends on whether or not you really want to do what's best for your account and progress as quickly as you can, because if you get bogged down in Faction Wars, if you get bogged down too much at the beginning in dungeons, then you will very quickly start to use resources on champions where you shouldn't use any resources just in order to progress a little bit more. My general advice would be that at the beginning, when we're talking about all of these dungeons, feel free to start them up, but don't waste too much time there. You don't really want to farm these yet because you're simply not strong enough. But what you can, for example, do is you just jump in, you try and see how you go through the stages. So basically go in all of the dungeons, progress as far as you can in the dungeon, but once that you lose a run, just stop playing in that particular dungeons. Your champions are going to get so much stronger without you actually focusing on anything else that you will break through those very quickly. And when it comes to the compositions, you basically just want to do your three strongest. You throw Alice in every single team composition for now, you throw Ugo in, and you throw Kayle in, and then you just add two more random champions, and then you just go. We will very heavily focus initially on Alice, Ugo, and Kayle for the content that we're clearing, and then as we're getting more champions, as we're getting those guys to level 60, then we all of a sudden have a lot more options that allow us to tackle specific dungeons, specific boss mechanics. Right now we can just brute force everything. That's not gonna last forever. Every single one of these bosses in the dungeons has certain mechanics that you usually need to play around with, but at the start you can just rely on the strength of your champions in order to get that done, and that's exactly what we're going to do. You will farm those a lot for certain items and item sets, which is actually also one of the main things that I want to talk about in this video. So when we're talking about our champions here, it is kind of important how you equip them. And when we're talking about Alice, we're talking about her mainly relying on attack sets. We want to have her maybe in speed if we have some good speed items. And then you can also go, if you have some cruel stuff already, you can go in this one as well. Or in anything that basically boosts your damage. This is what you're currently looking for Alice. She's going to be a damage dealer. Ugo is going to be a debuffer. He needs to stay alive the longest, so you want to just boost him as much as you can with, for example, a life set. But a lot of the items that you're getting at the beginning, they're not really great. You don't want to waste your resources there. As the game starts up, you get a lot of free stuff. It's free energy, it's free silver everywhere, and it's very tempting to just look at the resource and say like, oh my god, I have millions of silver. This is going to last me forever. Spoiler alert, it isn't. It really, really isn't. So what you want to avoid at the beginning is to upgrade any of your items past plus 12. Plus 12 should be the maximum, and I would honestly reserve that for halfway decent items. For a lot of the items that you get at the beginning that are 3-star or maybe even like 2-star items, I probably wouldn't upgrade whatsoever. If you have some 3-star items that you get for login rewards, for example, quest rewards, when you go through the campaign, there's certain bosses you can beat that also give you items. When you have 3 stars, you can really think about upgrading them a little bit. What you're generally looking for when it comes to gauntlets is basically at the primary stat you want to have percentage. So this one is attack percentage gauntlets. You want to have attack, defense, or HP percentage. And anything that is like a flat main stat for gauntlets and also for chest plates, it doesn't really matter here. So if you're looking at the 6 items, bottom row, these 2 gauntlets and chest plate, you always want to have percentage main stats. For boots, you essentially always want to have speed. So if you find speed boots, if you're lucky enough that early on you have a 3-star or 4-star speed boots, feel free to upgrade them to 12. This is something that we're going to be very aggressively looking for later as the game continues, and what we want is 5-star and 6-star speed boots that we can then fully upgrade. But currently you don't want to go too hard. Honestly, with the 4-star boots that I have here, I'm a little bit tempted to upgrade them even further. For now, there's no need immediately, but there's a good chance that if I don't find any additional speed boots anytime soon, that these are going to end up on plus 16 eventually, because I have very good substat rolls as well. The crit rate, plus 13%, I have HP percent, attack percent. This is really good substats, and as a main stat, 4-star isn't that crazy. It's not going to get you very heavily into the late game, for example, but this is something that I might later on use for some other champions that I don't really focus on. When it comes to the rest of the items, again, all the top lane items are always flat stats anyways. Helmets are HP, shields are defense, and swords or weapons are attack. But also here, very similar when it comes to the substats. You are looking for either speed substats, you're looking for percentage HP, percentage defense, or percentage attack. Then obviously we have crit rate and crit damage as well. The late game is going to center very heavily around crit damage builds that you want to establish. But for now, in the early game, the general idea is just simply that for Ugo, you want him to survive as long as you can. Try and focus on that. If you have some items that also gives you, for example, accuracy, that's great. Speed is a good substat as well. But Ugo needs to survive, and we want him to get accuracy if possible. You don't have to focus on this too much just yet, but it's something to already keep in mind. So these are just some of the sets that I got early on, but I would at this point probably see if I can maybe improve them a little bit more. I have the speed sets here that would give me plus 12 speed, so that's another one that could be interesting. But as you can see, the boots, for example, they have flat HP. Doesn't really do a whole lot for me. So a lot of those items would then be sold. Don't bother with 1-star and 2-star items. You can sell them immediately. This is just a waste of your inventory. Kayle is probably going to play second fiddle to Alice for a long time. He's going to have a bit of a bigger role when we're talking about the clan boss later. But generally speaking, you give Kayle what the other two aren't using. So a lot of the things that I have here, this is, for example, flat attack damage gauntlets. I use them because I have nothing else that is 5-star currently, and when we're talking about the chest plate, it has flat HP. It's not ideal for Kayle, but I have nothing that's better right now, so that's what he gets. And the good stuff that goes over to Alice. So this is kind of how you want to think about the items at this point. Focus on your top 3 champions. That's going to be Kayle, that's going to be Ugo, and it's going to be Alice for now. And they're going to carry us hard. All of the other champions here that I throw into compositions, they don't even have items, because it's just not worth building them. You don't want to waste your resources on them. What we really need to do is we want to upgrade all of these guys and then level them up by sacrificing other champions here. So we want to get all of those green ones, the common ones, to level 20, so that we can upgrade the 2-star to a 3-star champion, and then so on and so forth, and go up that pyramid so that we can finally get, for example, Alice to 6-star. The whole idea at the beginning of the game is that you get one of your champions to level 60, and that champion is then going to heavily carry you. It's a bit of a grind, but it's honestly really worth it, because once you have that level 60 champion, it's going to crush through the content super easily. Then you're going to work on your second level 60, your third level 60, and as we're progressing through that, then we have more and more options, also because we're picking up more champions on the way there that then can fill other niches. And then we're really focusing on building teams that can accomplish certain things within the game. We're saying, hey, we now want to tackle a certain dungeon boss because we need item sets that he drops, or we need to focus on something else to progress our account. But the whole idea is get a level 60 character as fast as you can so that you can go into the campaign. And the whole campaign goal is basically that you're trying to go to 12-3. That's the general farming stage. And in here you want to come in, you want to have your main character, hope that the character is now strong enough that he can breeze through that stage themselves. You throw 3 food characters in that you only want to level up. That's the only reason why they're there. They will die, but then again, they get all of the experience and they then slowly level up. You get them to level 20 and then you upgrade them into a 3-star and so on and so forth. So this is kind of the goal here. Currently I'm doing this in normal, but obviously you want to progress very quickly, that you can go into hard and into brutal. And for that very reason, we need to make sure that a character like Alice is able to pull that off. I honestly don't even know if she can win this on her own right now. I think she should be strong enough. I have her also in Life Leech that gives her a bit more sustain. but we are going to focus very quickly on more specific builds for her to get her through those stages. But at the beginning of the game, what you really want to do is you just do dungeons as far as you can do them, and you focus onto the campaign and really just try to get all of that done. And that will help you quite a bit. As you can see here, she can actually breeze through that, so that's great. And that is already upgrading all of my guys here. So I could now start to farm this a little bit just to make sure that I progress with her too. But again, for now, I can probably still go into the next difficulty if I break through the stage as well. And this is going to be part of the early game that you're now going to do. So this is basically it for today. Just a little bit of an idea. Again, take care of your items. Make sure that you don't invest too many resources into upgrading them. You will get better stuff very, very quickly. If you find a couple of good 5 stars, feel free to upgrade them to level 12. You have the resources right now, but avoid plus 16 because it's just a little bit too much on the resource side, and you very quickly will replace those items anyways. But you shouldn't run into any big bottlenecks in the campaign anytime soon. You can very quickly now upgrade your account. You will get other free legendaries, by the way, if you downloaded the game through my link in the description. I think it's at level 25 when the next one hits. And while we're doing all of that, make sure that you do your dailies, log in daily so that you get the quest rewards there as well. And it's going to be a lot of free stuff that very quickly gets you to a point where we then can focus a little bit on, hey, how do we tackle a certain dungeon? What kind of boss mechanic do we really need to keep in mind? And what are the next steps to really progress the account? But for now, this is kind of what you're focusing on most of your energy. Go through the campaign, do a little bit of dungeon work, but don't get bogged down in any specific aspect of the game yet. It's just not worth to drop all of your resources in. Your main goal for the time being is advance the campaign as much as you can and get to a point where you can upgrade your characters, where you can level them up and get one of them to level 60 as quickly as possible. This is going to be the biggest grind at the start, but I can promise you it's going to be worth it. Thanks for watching, and I'm going to see you guys in the next one.